trumpets. Shalom, everybody. Happy Sabbath. We're here for the Sabbath reading. Man, I've been trying to get ready for this cold weather, man. I've been having to get ready for this cold weather. I hope everybody's prepared and good to go. We're blowing up the trumpets. Don't forget me. We're here with this Sabbath reading. Since we didn't get to it early, we're going to get to it now, man. We'll read about an hour of 2 Kings. 2 Kings. An hour in 2 Kings. And we're going to see what it is. Man, I feel like I got poop on the bottom of my shoe. Because I do. Oh, Lord. Funky poop. Stinky poop. I'm smelling something. All on the bottom of my shoe. It's like it smells like a baby butt in here. Oh, man. Baby booty. Baby bottom power. I'm going to do this and then we're going to get into, because that smell got to go. Oh, man, that was funky. All right. I think I'm good to go now. All right. Get your Bibles. Get your pen, paper, highlighters if you need them. And let's see what we can learn and grow from in 2 Kings. The book of 2 Kings, chapter 1. Chapter 1. Elijah's prophecy to Ahaziah. Elijah's prophecy to Ahaziah. Boom. All right. We're going to rock with it. King James Version Bible. Sabbath reading. 2 Kings chapter 1. Chapter 1. Elijah's prophecy to Ahaziah. Then Moab rebelled against Israel after the death of Ahab. And Ahaziah fell down through a lattice in his upper chamber that was in Samaria, and was sick. And he sent messengers, and said unto them, Go, inquire of Beelzebub, the god of Ekron, whether I shall recover of this disease. But the angel of the Lord said to Elijah the Tishbite, Arise, go up to meet the messengers of the king of Samaria, and say unto them, Is it not because there is not a God in Israel, that ye go to inquire of Beelzebub, the god of Ekron? Now therefore thus saith the Lord, Thou shalt not come down from thy bed and on which thou art gone up, but shalt surely die. And Elijah departed. And when the messengers turned back unto him, he said unto them, Why are ye now turned back? And they said unto him, There came a man up to meet us, and said unto us, Go turn again unto the king that sent you, and say unto him, Thus saith the Lord, Is it not because there is not a God in Israel, that thou sendest to inquire of Beelzebub, the god of Ekron? Therefore thou shalt not come down from that bed on which thou art gone up, but shalt surely die. And he said unto them, What manner of man was he which came up to meet you, and told you these words? And they answered him, He was an hairy man, and girt with a girdle of leather about his loins. And he said, It is Elijah the Tishbite. Then the king sent unto him captain of 50 with his 50. And he went up to him, and behold, he sat on the top of the hill. And he spake unto him, Thou man of God, the king had said, Come down. And Elijah answered and said to the captain of 50, If I be a man of God, then let fire come down from heaven and consume thee and thy 50. And there came down fire from heaven and consumed him and his 50. Again, also he sent unto him another captain of 50 with his 50. And he answered and said unto him, O man of God, thus hath the king said, come down quickly. And Elijah answered and said unto him, if I be a man of God, let fire come down from heaven and consume thee and thy 50. And the fire of God came down from heaven and consumed him and his 50. And he sent again a captain of the third 50 with his 50. And the third captain of the 50 went up and came and fell on his knees before Elijah and besought him and said unto him, O man of God, I pray thee, let my life and the life of these 50 thy servants be precious in thy sight. Behold, there came fire down from heaven and burnt up the two captains of the former 50s with their 50s. Therefore, let my life now be precious in thy sight. And the angel of the Lord said unto Elijah, go down with him, be not afraid of him. And he arose and went down with him unto the king. And he said unto him, thus saith the Lord, for as much as thou hadst sent messengers to inquire of Beelzebub, messengers to inquire of Beelzebub, the god of Ekron, it is not because there is no God in Israel to inquire of his word. Therefore thou shalt not come down off the bed on which thou art gone up, but shalt surely die. So he died according to the word of the Lord which Elijah had spoken. And Jeroboam reigned in his stead in the second year of Jeroboam, the son of Jehoshaphat, king of Judah, because he had no son. Now the rest of the acts of Ahaziah, which he did, are they not written in the books of the Chronicles of the Kings of Israel? So I got to figure out what is these books of the Chronicles of the Kings of Israel. Chapter 2. Elijah taken up to heaven. And it came to pass, when the Lord would take up Elijah into heaven by a whirlwind, that Elijah went to Elisha from Gilgal. And Elijah said unto Elisha, tarry here, and I pray thee. For the Lord had sent me to Bethel. And Elisha said unto him, as the Lord liveth, and as thy soul liveth, I will not leave thee. So they went down to Bethel. And the sons of the prophets that were at Bethel came forth to Elisha, and said unto him, knowest thou that the Lord will take away thy master from thy head today? And he said, yea, I know it. Hold ye peace, hold ye your peace. And Elijah said unto him, Elisha, tarry here, I pray thee. For the Lord had sent me to Jericho, and he said, as the Lord liveth, and as thy soul liveth, I will not leave thee. So they came to Jericho. And the sons of the prophets that were at Jericho came to Elisha, and said unto him, knowest thou that the Lord will take away thy master from thy head today? And he answered, yea, I know it. Hold ye your peace. And Elijah said unto him, tarry, I pray thee here. For the Lord had sent me to Jordan. And he said, as the Lord liveth, and as thy soul liveth, I will not leave thee. And they too went on. And 50 men of the sons of the prophets went and stood to view afar off. And they too stood by Jordan. And Elijah took his mantle and wrapped it together and smote the waters, and they were divided hither and thither, so that they too went over on dry ground. Man, I'm at to mark that. You know how many times the Jordan has been separated? This for sure is twice for sure for me that I know of. Twice. It was also separated once whenever when Joshua came across the Jordan. When Joshua came across the Jordan, the priest went in first with the Ark of the Covenant, and they made an altar of 12 stones from where the priests were standing at when the river dried up. They were divided hither and thither, that the two went over on dry ground. And it came to pass, when they were gone over, that Elijah said unto Elisha, Ask what I shall do for thee, before I be taken away from thee. And Elisha said, I pray thee, let a double portion of thy spirit be upon me. And he said, Thou hast asked a hard thing. Nevertheless, if thou see me when I am taken from thee, it shall be so unto thee. But if not, it shall not be so. And it came to pass, as they still went on and talked, that behold, there appeared a chariot of fire and horses of fire, and parted them both asunder. And Elijah went up by a whirlwind into heaven, and Elisha saw it. And he cried, my father, the chariot of Israel and the horsemen thereof. And he saw him no more. And he took hold of his own clothes and rent them in two pieces. Beginning of Elisha's ministry. He took up also the mantle of Elijah that fell from him, and went back and stood by the bank of Jordan. And he took the mantle of Elijah that fell from him, and smote the water, and said, Where is the Lord God of Elijah? And when he also had smitten the waters, they parted hither and thither, and Elisha went over. And when the sons of the prophets which were to view that Jericho saw him, they said, The spirit of Elijah doth rest on Elisha. And they came to meet him, and bowed themselves to the ground before him. And they said unto him, Behold now, there be with thy servants 50 strong men. Let them go, we pray thee, and seek thy master, lest peradventure the spirit of the Lord had taken him up, and cast him upon some mountain, and into some valley. And he said, Ye shall not send. And when they urged him till he was ashamed, he said, Send. They went therefore 50 men, and they sought 3 days, but found him not. And when they came again to him, and for he tarried at Jericho, he said unto them, Did I not say unto you, Go not? And the men of the city said unto Elisha, Behold, I pray thee, the situation of the city is pleasant, as my Lord seeth, but the water is not, and the ground is barren. And he said, Bring me a new cruse, and put salt therein. And they brought it to him. And he went forth unto the spring of the waters, and cast the salt in there, and said, Thus saith the Lord, I have healed these waters. There shall not be from thence any more death or barren land. So the waters were healed unto this day, according to the saying of Elisha, which he spoke. And he went up from thence into Bethel, and as he was going up by the way, there came forth little children out of the city, and mocked him, and said unto him, Go up, thou bald head, go up, thou bald head. And he turned back and looked on them, and cursed them in the name of the Lord. And there came forth two she-bears out of the woods, and tear 42 children of them. And he went from thence to Mount Carmel, and from thence he returned to Samaria. Bought him, he sent the bears out on them children. Get their ass. You want to call me bald head? Bald head, scallywag. Ain't got no handbag. I'm clowning his ass. Take that, Alicia. Man, that's a lot of children, though. 42 children. Oh, man. Jehoram's siege against Moab. Chapter 3. Now Jehoram, the son of Ahab, began to reign over Israel and Samaria for the 18th year of Jehoshaphat, king of Judah, and reigned 12 years. And he wrought evil in the sight of the Lord, but not like his father, and like his mother, for he put away the image of Baal that his father had made. Nevertheless, he cleaved unto the sins of Jeroboam, the son of Nebat, which made Israel to sin. He departed not therefrom. And Mesha, king of Moab, was a sheep master, and rendered unto the king of Israel 100,000 lambs and 100,000 rams with the wool. But it came to pass, when Ahab was dead, that the king of Moab rebelled against the king of Israel. And King Jehoram went out of Samaria the same time, and numbered all of Israel. And he went and sent to Jehoshaphat, the king of Judah, saying, the king of Moab had rebelled against me. Wilt thou go with me against Moab to battle? And he said, I will go up. I am as thou art, my people as thy people, and my horses as thy horses. And he said, which way shall we go up? And he answered, the way through the wilderness of Edom. So the king of Israel went, and the king of Judah, and the king of Edom. And they fetched a compass of 7 days' journey, and there was no water for the host, and for the cattle that followed them. And the king of Israel said, alas, that the Lord had called these 3 kings together to deliver them into the hand of Moab. But Jehoshaphat said, is there not here a prophet of the Lord, that we may inquire of the Lord by him? And one of the king of Israel's servants answered and said, here is Elisha, the son of Shaphat, which poured water on the hands of Elijah. And Jehoshaphat said, the word of the Lord is with him. So the king of Israel and Jehoshaphat, the king of Edom, went down to him. And Elisha said unto the king of Israel, what have I to do with thee? Get thee to the prophets of thy father, and to the prophets of thy mother. And the king of Israel said unto him, nay, for the Lord hath called these 3 kings together to deliver them into the hand of Moab. And Elisha said, as the Lord of hosts liveth, before whom I stand, surely, were it not that I regard the presence of Jehoshaphat, the king of Judah, I would not look toward thee, nor see thee. But now bring me a minstrel. And it came to pass, when the minstrel played, that the hand of the Lord came upon him. And he said, thus saith the Lord, make this valley full of ditches. For thus saith the Lord, ye shall not see wind, neither shall ye see rain. Yet the valley shall be filled with water, and ye may drink, both ye and your cattle and your beasts. And this is but a light thing in the sight of the Lord. He will deliver the Moabites also into your hand. And ye shall smite every fenced city and every choice city, and shall fell every good tree, and stop all wells of waters, and mar every good piece of land with stone. And it came to pass in the morning, when the meat offering was offered, that, behold, there came water by the way of Edom, and the country was filled with water. And when all the Moabites heard that the kings were come up to fight against them, they gathered all that were able to put on armor and upward, and stood in the border. And they rose up early in the morning, and the sun shone upon the water, and the Moabites saw the water on the other side as red as blood. And they said, this is blood. The kings are surely slain, and they have smitten one another. Now therefore Moab to the spoil. And when they came to the camp of Israel, the Israelites rose up and smote the Moabites, so that they fled before them. But they went forward, smiting the Moabites, even in their country. And they beat down the cities on every good piece of land, cast every man his stone, and filled it. And they stopped all the wells of water, and felled all the good trees. Only in Kaharaseth, only in Kaharaseth left they the stones thereof. Howbeit the slingers went about it and smote it. And when the king of Moab saw that the battle was too sore for him, he took with him 700 men that drew swords to break through, even unto the king of Edom, but they could not. Then he took his eldest son, that should have reigned in his stead, and offered him for a burnt offering upon the wall. And there was a great indignation against Israel. And they departed from him and returned to their own land. Damn, man. Chapter 4, the widow's pot of oil. Let me see. I think we're going to read to chapter 7. We're going to read to chapter 8. We'll read to chapter 8. The widow's pot of oil. Now therefore cried a certain woman of the wives of the sons of the prophets of Elisha, saying, Their servant my husband is dead, and thou knowest that thy servant did fear the Lord, and the creditors come to take unto him my 2 sons, and to be bondmen. And Elisha said unto her, What shall I do for thee? Tell me, what hast thou in thy house? And she said, Thine handmaid had not anything in the house, save a pot of oil. And then he said, Go, borrow thee vessels abroad of all thy neighbors, even empty vessels, borrow not a few. And when thou art come in, thou shalt shut the door upon thee and upon thy sons, and shalt pour out into all those vessels, and thou shalt set aside that which is full. So she went from him, and set the door open, and shut the door upon her and upon her sons, and brought the vessels to her, and she poured out. Yes, sir. Okay, you got to wait, sir. And it came to pass, when the vessels were full, that she said unto her son, Bring me yet a vessel. And he said unto her, There is not a vessel more. And the oil stayed. Then she came and told the man of God, and he said, Go sell the oil and pay the debt, and live thou and the children of the rest. Shunammite's son. And it fell on a day that Elisha passed to Shunem, where was the great woman, and she constrained him to eat bread. And so it was that as oft as he passed by, he turned in thither to eat bread. Shalom, everybody. And she said unto her husband, Behold now, I perceive that this is an holy man of God, which passeth by us continually. Let us make a little chamber, I pray thee, on the wall, and let us set for him there a bed, and a table, and a stool, and a candlestick. And it shall be, when he cometh to us, that he shall turn in thither. And it fell on a day that he came thither, and he turned into the chamber and lay there. And he said to Gehazi, his servant, Call this Shunammite. And when he had called her, she stood before him. And he said unto her, Say now unto her, Behold, thou hast been careful for us with all this care. What is to be done for thee? wouldest thou be spoken for to the king or to the captain of the host? And she answered, I dwell among mine own people. And he said, what then is to be done for her? And Gehazi answered, verily she hath no child, and her husband is old. And he said, call her. And when he had called her, she stood in the door. And he said, about this season, according to the time of life, thou shalt embrace a son. And she said, nay, my lord, thou man of God, do not lie unto thine handmaid. And the woman conceived and bare a son, and that season that Elisha had said unto her according to the time of life. And when the child was grown, it fell on a day that he went out to his father to the reapers. And he said unto his father, my head, my head. And he said to the lad, carry him to his mother. And when he had taken him and brought him to his mother, he sat on her knees till noon and then died. And she went up and laid him on the bed of the man of God and shut the door upon him and went out. And she called unto her husband and said, send me, I pray thee, one of the young men and one of the asses, that I may run to the man of God and come again. And he said, wherefore wilt thou go to him today? It is neither new moon nor Sabbath. And she said, it shall be well. Then she saddled an ass and said to her servant, drive and go forward. Slack not thy riding for me, except I bid thee. So she went and came into the man of God to Mount Carmel. And it came to pass, when the man of God saw her afar off, that he said to Gehazi, his servant, behold, yonder is that Shunammite. Run now, I pray thee, to meet her, and say unto her, it is well with thee. It is well with thy husband. And say unto her, is it well with thee? Is it well with thy husband? Is it well with thy child? And she answered, it is well. And when she came to the man of God to the hill, she caught him by the foot. But Gehazi came near to thrust her away. And the man of God said, let her alone, for her soul is vexed within her. And the Lord hath hid it from me, and hath not told me. Then she said, did I deserve a son of my Lord? Did I not say, do not deceive me? Then he said to Gehazi, gird up thy loins, and take my staff in thine hand, and go thy way. If thou meet any man, salute him not. And if any salute thee, answer him not again. And lay my staff upon the face of the child. And the mother of the child said, as the Lord liveth, and as thy soul liveth, I will not leave thee. And he arose and followed her. And Gehazi passed on before them, and laid the staff upon the face of the child. But there was neither voice nor hearing. Whether he went again to meet him, and told him, saying, the child is not awaked. And when Elijah was come into the house, behold, the child was dead, and laid upon his bed. He went in therefore, and shut the door upon them twain, and prayed unto the Lord. And he went up and laid upon the child, and put his mouth upon his mouth, and his eyes upon his eyes, and his hands upon his hands, and he stretched himself upon the child. And the flesh of the child waxed warm. Then he returned and walked into the house to and fro, and went up and stretched him upon him. And the child sneezed 7 times, and the child opened his eyes. And he called Gehazi and said, call this Shulamite. So he called her. And when she was come in unto him, he said, take up thy son. And she went in. Then she went in and fell at his feet, and bowed herself to the ground, and took up her son and went out. Poisonous food made harmless. Poisonous food made harmless. And Elisha came again to Gilgal, and there was a dearth in the land. And the sons of the prophets were sitting before him, and he said unto his servants, set on the great pot, and seethe pottage for the sons of the prophets. What am I doing?
Reading.
So what do you need to do?
Wait.
Okay. So please do that, sir.
Okay.
Thank you. Hey, can you do me a favor? Do me a favor and go get me another bottle of water, please. Thank you, sir. And Elisha came again to Gilgal, and there was a dearth in the land. And the sons of the prophets were sitting before him, and said unto his servant, set on the great pot to seethe pottage for the sons of the prophets. And one went out into the field to gather herbs, and found a wild vine, and gathered thereof wild gourds, his lap full, and came and shred them into the pot of pottage, for they knew them not. Thank you very much, son. Appreciate it. For they poured out for them, so they poured out for the men to eat. And it came to pass, as they were eating of the pottage, that they cried out and said, O thou man of God, there is dearth in the pot, and they could not eat thereof. But he said, bring the meal, and he cast it into the pot. And he said, pour out for the people, that they may eat. And there was no harm in the pot. The feeding of the 100 men. And there came a man from Bootsoulja337, and brought the man of God bread of the first fruits, 20 loaves of barley, and full ears of corn, and the husk thereof. And he said, give unto the people, that they may eat. And his servitor said, what should I set this before 100 men? He said again, give the people, that they may eat. For thus saith the Lord, they shall eat, and they shall leave thereof. So he set it before them, and they did eat and left thereof, according to the word of the Lord. Chapter 5. Oh, man. Chapter 5. We got 3 more chapters. 5, 6, and 7. That's what we're going to read. 5, 6, and 7. How much time we got? Well, we should read 5, 6, and 7. Let's see. The cure of Naaman, the leper. Now Naaman, captain of the host of the king of Syria, was a great man with his master, and honorable, because by him the Lord had given deliverance unto Syria. He was also a mighty man in valor, but he was a leper. And the Syrians had gone out by companies, and had brought away captive out of the land of Israel a little maid, and she waited on Naaman's wife. And she said unto her mistress, would God my Lord were with the prophet that is in Samaria, for he would recover him of his leprosy. And one went in and told his Lord, saying, thus and thus said the maid that is in the land of Israel. And the king of Syria said, go and I will send a letter unto the king of Israel. And he departed and took with him 10 talents of silver, and 6,000 pieces of gold, and 10 changes of raiment. And he brought the letter to the king of Israel, saying, now when this letter is come unto thee, behold, I have therewith sent Naaman, my servant, to thee, that thou mayest recover him of his leprosy. And it came to pass, when the king of Israel had read the letter, that he rent his clothes and said, am I God to kill and to make alive? To this man doth send unto me to recover a man that of his leprosy? Wherefore consider, I pray you, and see how I seeketh a quarrel against me. And it was so when Elisha, the man of God, had heard that the king of Israel had rent his clothes, that he sent to the king, saying, Wherefore hast thou rent thy clothes? Let him come now to me, and he shall know that there is a prophet in Israel. So Naaman came with his horses and with his chariot, and stood at the door of the house of Elisha. And Elisha sent a messenger unto him, saying, Go and wash in Jordan 7 times, and thy flesh shall come again to thee, and thou shalt be clean. But Naaman was wroth, and went away, and said, Behold, I thought he will surely come out to me, and stand, and call on the name of the Lord his God, and strike his hand over this place, and recover the leper. Are not Abana and Pharpar rivers of Damascus better than all the waters of Israel? May I not wash them and be clean? So he turned and went away in rage. And his servant came near and spake unto him and said, My father, if the prophet had bid thee do some great thing, wouldest thou not have done it? How much rather then, when he said to thee, Wash and be clean? Then went he down and dipped himself 7 times in Jordan, according to the saying of the man of God. And his flesh came again like unto the flesh of a little child, and he was clean. And he returned to the man of God, he and all his company, and came and stood before him. And he said, Behold, now I know that there is no God in all the earth but in Israel. Now therefore I pray thee, take a blessing of thy servant. But he said, As the Lord liveth, before whom I stand, I will receive none. And he urged him to take it, but he refused. And Naaman said, Shall there not then, I pray thee, be given to thy servants 2 mules, burdens of earth? For thy servant will henceforth offer neither burnt offering nor sacrifices unto other gods, but unto the Lord. In this thing the Lord pardon thy servant, that when my master goeth unto the house of Rimmon to worship there, and he leaneth on my hand, and I bow myself in the house of Rimmon, when I bow down myself in the house of Rimmon, the Lord pardon thy servant of this thing. And he said unto him, Go in peace. So I departed from him a little way. But Gehazi, the servant of Elisha, the man of God, said, Behold, my master had spared Naaman this Syrian, in not receiving at his hands that which he brought. But as the Lord liveth, I will run after him, and take somewhat of him. So Gehazi followed after Naaman, and when Naaman saw him running after him, he lighted down in the chariot to meet him, and said, Is all well? And he said, All is well. My master had sent me, saying, Behold, even now there be come to me from Mount Ephraim 2 young men, and the sons of the prophets. Give them, I pray thee, a talent of silver and 2 changes of garments. And Naaman said, Be content, take 2 talents. And he urged him, and bound 2 talents of silver in 2 bags with 2 changes of garments, and laid them upon 2 of his servants. And they bare them before him. And when he came to the tower, he took them from their hand, and bestowed them in the house, and let the men go. And they departed. But when he went in and stood before his master, and Elisha said unto him, Whence comest thou, Gehazi? And he said, Thy servant went no whither. And he said unto him, Went not mine heart with thee, when the man turned again from his chariot to meet thee? Is it not to receive money, and to receive garments, and olive yards and vineyards and sheep and oxen and men servants and maid servants. And leprosy thereof of Naaman shall cleave unto thee and unto thy seed forever. And he went out from his presence, a leper as white as snow. Oh shit, that's what you get for lying, my boy. You know, it seemed to never fail, man. I ain't gonna even lie, man. Even when I wasn't reading the Bible, like online on YouTube and shit, every time I get to reading the Bible, man, it's like something come over me, man, that make me sleepy as shit. Like, I'm gonna finish up. I know I was trying to get to chapter 8, but I am going to finish off this last chapter, chapter 6. We're gonna stop at that. We're at about an hour. That'll put me at about an hour. Once I finish chapter 6, we'll stop at chapter 7. And that'll be it for this Sabbath reading. Man, yeah, my eyes is blurry. Some on my shoulders, like, sleep. No. Chapter 6. Shit. Recovery of the lost axe head. And the sons of the prophet said to Elisha, behold now, the place where we dwelt with thee is too strait for us. Let us go, we pray thee, unto Jordan, and take thence every man a beam, and let us make us a place there, where we may dwell. And he answered, go ye. And one said, be content, I pray thee, and go with thy servants. And he answered, I will go. And he went with him, and when they came to Jordan, they cut down wood. But as one was felling a beam, the axe head fell into the water, and he cried and said, alas, master, for it was borrowed. I wonder if alas means like, oh, shit. And the man of God said, where fell it? And he showed him the place. And he put down the stick and cast it in thither, and the iron did swim. Therefore said he, take it up to thee. And he put out his hand and took it. Elisha strikes the Syrians blind. Elisha strikes the Syrians blind. Man, I appreciate whoever rocking with me and trying to hold it down with me as I try to push through. The sleep monster massaging me. Oh, get off of me. Reading don't fail me now. Elisha strikes the Syrians blind. And the king of Syria warred against Israel and took counsel with his servants, saying, in such and such a place shall be my camps. And the man of God sent unto the king of Israel, saying, beware thou pass not such a place, for hither the Syrians are come down. And the king of Israel sent to the place which the man of God told him and warned him of, and saved himself there, not once nor twice. Therefore, the heart of the king of Syria was sore troubled for this thing, and he called his servant and said unto them, will ye not show me which of us is for the king of Israel? And one of his servants said, none, my lord, O king, but Elisha the prophet that is in Israel. Telleth king of Israel the words that thou speakest in thy bedchamber. And he said, go and spy where he is, that I may send to fetch him. And it was told him, saying, behold, he is in Dothan. Therefore sent he hither horses and chariots and a great host, and they came by night and compassed the city about. And when the servant of the man of God was risen early and gone forth, behold, that host compassed the city both with horses and chariots. And the servant said unto him, Alas, my master, how shall we do? Ooh.
As you not reading to me, it's
maybe yes, sir.
There's balls in there.
Yes, sir. It was marbles. Yes, sir.
Marbles? But why do they have a lot of colors? I thought all of them would be red or something.
How shall we do? And he answered, Fear not, for they that be with us are more than they that be with them. And Elisha prayed and said, Lord, I pray thee, open his eyes, that he may see. And the Lord opened the eyes of the young man, and he saw. And behold, the mountain was full of horses and chariots of fire round about Elisha. And when they came down to him, Elisha prayed unto the Lord and said, Smite this people, I pray thee, with blindness. And he smote them with blindness according to the word of Elisha. And Elisha said unto them, This is not the way, neither is this the city. Follow me, and I will bring you to the man whom you seek. But he led them to Samaria. And it came to pass, when they were come into Samaria, that Elisha said, Lord, open the eyes of these men, that they may see. And the Lord opened their eyes, and they saw, and behold, they were in the midst of Samaria. And the king of Israel said unto Elisha, when he saw them, My father, shall I smite them? Shall I smite them? And he answered, Thou shalt not smite them. Wouldest thou smite those whom thou hast taken captive with thy sword and with thy bow? Set bread and water before them, that they may eat and drink, and go to their master. And he prepared great provision for them. And when they had eaten and drunk, he sent them away, and they went to their master. So the bands of Syria came no more into the land of Israel. Famine in Samaria. And it came to pass, after this, that Ben-Hadad, king of Syria, gathered all his host and went up and besieged Samaria. And there was a great famine in Samaria. And behold, they besieged it until the ass's head was sold for 80 pieces of silver, and a fourth part of a cab of dove's dung for 5 pieces of silver. And as the king of Israel was passing on by upon the wall, they cried a woman unto him, saying, Help my lord, O king. And he said, If the Lord do not help thee, whence shall I help thee? Out of the barn floor, or out of the winepress? And the king said unto her, What aileth thee? And she answered, This woman said unto me, Give thy son, that we may eat him today, and we will eat my son tomorrow. But we boiled my son, and did eat him. And I said unto her on the next day, Give thy son, that we may eat him. And she had hid her son. And it came to pass, when the king heard the words of the woman, that he rent his clothes, and he passed by upon the wall, and the people looked, and behold, he had sackcloth within upon his flesh. Then he said, God, do so and more also to me, if the head of Elisha the son of Shaphat should stand on him this day. The prophecy of Elisha. Got 3 verses. But Elisha sat in his house, and the elders sat with him. And the king sent a man from before him. But ere the messenger came to him, he said to the elders, See ye how this son of a murderer had set to take away mine head? Look, when the messenger cometh, shut the door, and hold him fast at the door. Is not the sound of his master's feet behind him? And while he yet talketh with them, behold, the messenger came down unto him, And he said, behold, this evil is of the Lord. What should I wait for the Lord any longer? We're going to stop there. We're going to stop there at chapter 7. We'll pick back up on chapter 7. That has been a Sabbath reading. 2 Kings, the book of 2 Kings. We read chapter 1 through 6. We read chapter 1 through 6 today. Oh, man, that sleep monster is on me. I feel him. I feel him. I feel him. He trying to do me in. Sleep. Oh, he's trying to get me. Now, I'll be having to fight it sometime, man. I'll be having to fight it. Fight it, for real. I don't know what it is. Just whenever I read the Bible, man, normally that's what it is. It used to be when I read anything. When I get ready to read anything, but I couldn't read long, though. I couldn't see shit. But, now it's more so the Bible. It's been that for a minute. When I get to reading good or trying to read good, I feel like, I'm going to learn something today. Oh, man, it be trying to put me to sleep. Something be trying to sleep. I be trying to slang him off me, man. Get behind me, Satan. Get thee behind me. Shit. Oh, man. Well, let's blow up the trumpet. Let's blow up the trumpet, man. Let's blow up the trumpet. And then that's it. That's it for, the Sabbath reading. Oh, my ass. Oh, that'll be it for the Sabbath reading. But I hope that y'all stay warm. I hope that y'all had a wonderful Sabbath. I hope that you take the time to read your own Bible, man. Take the time to read your own Bible. Don't just rely on other people reading it. Don't rely on other people reading it to you. If you have somebody reading it to you, all praises, good. Listen, but take it upon yourself to read your own Bible. Read for yourself. Read word for word for yourself. Don't be fooled. Don't be deceived. Don't be like, I didn't know that was in there, because you didn't read. That's why you didn't know it was in there. You never read it for yourself. If you're waiting on your pastor to read it to you, he's not going to. She's not going to. And it shouldn't be a she pastor, but they're not going to. They're not going to read it to you. They're not going to read it for you. You have to do it for yourself. Seek ye. You have to seek. You have to seek for yourself. That's if you want to. If you don't want to, hey, do what you do. That's on you. Do what you do. That's on you. You'll never find if you don't seek. Yeah, well, till next time, till the next Sabbath reading, man, we'll come back next time and pick back up in 2 Kings chapter 7. Oh, man, I might come back early in the morning. I'm probably going to lay it down here in a minute. But if I lay it down here in a minute, regardless, whatever time I wake up, man, be on the lookout for the next episode of Reading with Shiloh. We'll pick back up on part 7 of the book of Patrice O'Neal. Catch that later. Catch that in the next episode. We'll see how that go. Man, I'm tired. Everybody stay warm. Shalom. I'm out here. I am that I am. Shalom. Oh, I'm tired.